Okay, so we will continue the discussion. We were discussing the 2017 question paper, and we stopped here, right? So here, the next question is related to corporate social responsibility. So if you remember, we have already covered this topic, and you know what is CSR. Okay, so the company was supposed to spend 2% of their average profit for the welfare activities, right? So it can be related to education, it can be related to health. So any such developmental measures the company have to spend. So it is a social responsibility from the side of the company, right? It is not only for getting the economic benefit from the society, you also have to repay it back. So what is the ethics here? The social ethics. So you also need to repay it back in terms of, some proportion, some portion, that is like 2% you have to spend. Now we have also discussed the other dimension, that the government can charge this 2% extra tax from the company, but why not charging the tax extra, and why this kind of arrangement? Because there may be some innovative measures which can be done by the company to take care of such issues, maybe with respect to drinking water, with respect to irrigation, with respect to education, with respect to health. If the company have expertise, or the company have infrastructure, the company may have some good idea, and the company may be able to implement it in a better way rather than the government doing. So you don't want to know the sections and everything, just need to have an idea what is corporate social responsibility and the ethics behind this. So the question here is, CSR makes companies more profitable and sustainable. So here, now you are spending 2%. Now how is it going to make the company more profitable and sustainable? That is a question, right? So here comes the question of short term loss and the long term gain. So it's a kind of investment that you're doing. This 2% you're spending means you are making an investment, and this investment is going to give you a lot of reward, right? So it's like you sow, so you reap. You are doing something now, you will get the benefit out of it later. Maybe you are spending for education, so you can get good employees or labor later in future. Secondly, this can improve the reputation of the company, so that way also this is going to help. So the company's name will be common among the public if the company is doing really good social welfare activities, right? So under which section of Companies Act? It is under section 135 and schedule 7 of the Companies Act. So CSR is compulsory, mandatory, that the company have to spend 2% of their 3 years average profit. So what is social responsibility or the corporate social responsibility? This we have already done. Now what you need to say is, this is part of social ethics. You have to give a portion back to the society from where you are getting the economic gain. So it will also help to build the brand name from the company's perspective long term. That is an advantage for the company. So when the company is spending, and you can get entry level workers also if you can invest on education, right? So that is another advantage that you can get. And see, when the company is doing this, this is the maximum happiness for maximum people, greatest happiness for greatest number of people, right? So what principle is that? Utilitarianism, right? Or the communitarianism. So that is also something which you need to write here. Okay, now the question is about short term loss, yes, but the long term gain. Now any question, even in case study also, you have to look from the perspective of long term gain. Are you losing something short term, but is that going to give you some long term gain? Then that is fine. Okay, so not only for you, here it is asked from the company's perspective. That's the reason why I've told you in that way. Or in general, when you look into the case studies, the action that you're going to contemplate, is that going to good for the society, do good for the society in the long term, right? So sometimes they will put you in a situation where you may need to tolerate corruption. So you will say there will be ethical dilemma. So you will say, I may be able to compromise at this point of time. In that context, that there may be a short term gain for the company, but long term that is not good, so I won't do that. You will not indulge in that practice, because long term it is going to affect the reputation of the company, it is going to affect the morale of the company, like that. You will see some kind of case studies, maybe today itself you will see those kinds of case studies. Okay, so I hope that question is clear. That's a direct one. So just for making you confident, I'm explaining all these. Otherwise, it's actually not required. These are very, very simple questions. Okay, so this is a statement that you can explain from your side. There's also, if a country need to be corruption free and become a nation of beautiful minds, I strongly feel there are the three key social members who can make a difference: is the father, mother, and the teacher. So here basically they're talking about the value education which has to come from the side of the father, mother, teacher. This is something which you need to write from your side, from the school and from the family, that we have discussed already in the chapter of determinants of ethics, and we have discussed this before. So from there also you can add from family side and from school side, source of ethics. In that area we have discussed it already. Okay, now the next question: how will you apply emotional intelligence in administrative practices? So how can you define emotional intelligence? That we have discussed already, so I hope you know about this. It is basically to control your emotion, not only your emotion, and also you should be in a position to understand the emotions of others. So that is how you can define emotional intelligence. Maybe in one line you need to define what is emotional intelligence. You don't want to say or give the name of any person. You can say emotional intelligence is the ability to control or understand the emotion, at the same time control the emotion, not only your emotion but the emotions of others also. So that involves various other elements like compassion, empathy, and all those things are also part of this. Okay, so now the question is, how can you apply emotional intelligence in administrative practices? So you can put now in administrative practices means, if you have emotional intelligence, you can actually understand the emotions of others, right? So when you can understand the emotions of others, you can think from the shoes of the other person. So if you are the team leader, you can actually think from the side of your team, right? And if you can think from the side of your team, you can build the team spirit and better interpersonal communication. The same wavelength can be created, and all these will give a better environment in the workplace. So that is something which you can write. Apart from that, you know you can train the team members about on emotional intelligence. Okay, and you can also empathize with the team members. All is what you can write. So you can understand and you can manage your emotion. You can understand and you can manage the emotion of your team members or whoever is part of that situation. You can also empathize with others. Okay, and you can understand their situation properly. And when it comes to the service delivery, especially when it comes to administrative practices, so you can understand those who are in need, standing in their shoe. So you can empathize with those people, and that you can actually help them if this is there. Okay, so that's it, and you can elaborate on that. You can write from your side. Okay, next one is related to the international ethics. So, or ethics in international relation. Strength, peace, and security are considered to be the pillars of international relation. Explain. Okay, so here what you need to say, you need to talk about the strength, and the strength can be in different dimension. You can discuss. It can be economic strength, it can be military power, whatever it is. Okay, so if the strength is there in any country, automatically peace will come and security will come. Now when it comes to international relation, the other perspective in which you need to write is a country, a strong country should be in a position to make international peace and should ensure security of the vulnerable countries also. But the question is with respect to the countries which is trying to impose their dominance on other countries. The country may be militarily and economically very powerful. If you take the case of US also, they are trying to impose their domination, right, in on other countries, and that is not considered as ethical. So here the point is, when the country have the strength, automatically the peace and security should come, and that should also create a universal brotherhood, this concept of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam, right? So it will promote universal brotherhood. It has to promote universal brotherhood. So there should not be any kind of subordination or domination, or there should not be any kind of imperialism. Okay, the country may be strong, so that should not make a situation that you're going to attack some country and loot that country. That is not possible. So that is the dimension in which you need to answer this question. So if the country is strong, it should ensure peace in the world, not only in that country, and also security in the world. So that, this world war incidents and all, it should not happen. The kind of imperialism and all those things should not happen. Okay. So there should not be any question of subordination or, domination. Universal brotherhood. Where we have discussed this? We have discussed this when we discussed about Ravindranath Tagore. Any doubt in that? Anything more you want to add? See, these are general questions only. You can write from your side. Okay. So the next one, the crisis of ethical values in modern times strays to a narrow perception of good life. So now see, today when it comes to good life, what does that mean? Beyond, more than getting a good job and more than everything, a material satisfaction is more important in the current scenario, right? People aspire to have more rich money, and that is the reason why this corruption and everything which is going on. And in fact, one of the most important reason for corruption is actually family, right? In fact, family is promoting those kinds of deviant activity, and because family is providing the justification for any deviant activity, it is because of the aspirations of family only most of these politicians and the bureaucrats are becoming corrupt in one dimension. So when the new dimension of good life is decided on the basis of, if you're following a simple lifestyle, without a corrupt officer, simple lifestyle and all, nobody will respect. People will only see that good, material life. So that is one of the reason why the crisis of ethical values in the system, right? For example, this coaching institutes are charging very high fees, or the hospitals charging, instead of taking care of the health of the public, they are simply trying to loot the patients, right? So these are examples which you can write here. And what is given importance here? The ends are given more important. What is the end? End is having a good life. That means a good material life. So what should be the solution? What should be the conclusion? Now that you can write in your answer, but that will not happen. A communitarianism, utilitarianism, maximum good for maximum people. Your action should be guided on the basis of that principles. It should not be based on your own benefit. It should not be based on a vested interest and your own ends. Okay, so that can be the conclusion when you're writing the answer. That is what you need to write. Okay, what about this one? Increased national wealth did not result in equitable distribution of benefits. It has created only some enclaves of modernity and prosperity for the small minority at the cost of majority. They are saying that the minority is becoming rich, and they became modern and they have the prosperous life. At the same time, the majority is suffering, and it is at the cost of majority this minority is enjoying the privileges. And that is very true. 1% of the population is holding what percentage of the wealth? That itself is indicating. This Gini coefficient is also saying that the level of inequality. So this question is all about related to inequality, which is again part of the social ethics, right? So you can write all these issues you might have read in newspaper, like the 20 crore people in India are still living in the pavements with hunger, right? And nobody is there to take care of those people. So that the level of inequality and the suffering that the majority have. But the minority is obviously few of the people are getting that benefits of the growth. So the problem is actually with the trickle down approach. It is expected that the benefit of growth will reach to the poorest, but it is actually not happening, right? The last man standing in the last row he should also get the benefit, Sarvodaya concept of Mahatma Gandhi. But that is actually not happening. The trickle down is not happening. That is a problem. So the government have to ensure that the majority, these sections are also getting benefit through various schemes and policies. Okay. So you can also say CSR, corporate social responsibility, has to be implemented properly to take care of those peoples and their needs. Anything else you want to discuss here? Also talk about this farmers issue. If farmers are not there, the food security will be affected very badly. But even farmers are also suffering, and every year this much number of farmer suicide is coming, right? So they don't get land for cultivation, but there are land acquisition for many other developmental aspects. But for farming and for farmers, land is not there. So all these are something which you need to write here. And then see this, these are open questions. There is no fixed answer. That is the reason why I'm not giving you any fixed answer. I'm just giving you some general guidelines, what all dimensions can be brought in here. Now you will be in a position to write a better answer because you know the current reality and everything which is going on, and you are reading the newspapers and everything. So more than me, you should be in a position to write a very good answer for these kind of questions. This is related to bureaucracy and the procedures and the rule of law, etc. So the question is, discipline generally implies following the order and subordination. Okay, so that means you have to follow your superiors. However, it may be counterproductive for the organization. Now you see, if you keep on following the orders of your superior, the question is how it can be counterproductive. That is what discipline actually. So why hierarchy is there? Because you have to obey the superior, right? And that bureaucracy is designed in that way so that the effective implementation and the decision making, everything will go in a smooth way. So it is designed in such a way that discipline is required, and implementation of whatever the seniors are saying, that is also required. But that is counterproductive for the organization means what you can write here. This lead to the at the lower level, what will happen at the lower level, the creativity is actually hindered. Maybe at the lower level some better ideas and better innovations can come, but just because they are supposed to follow the orders of the seniors, they are not able to implement their ideas or anything. So that you can say, and only this when you're obeying the orders of the seniors, then there is no accountability from the side of the seniors, why they are saying so, what they are saying, to what extent it is going to be doing good for the society, and everything is not actually checked, right? But at your level it will be checked by the superiors, but they are not getting checked. So that accountability is lacking also. So that is something which you can write, but it is discipline. The system is defined in that way. So the main point here is it suppresses the creativity, it suppresses the innovation. And it also, if you simply, becoming like this kind of rigid organization, just you are only following the, orders of the seniors, what will happen? The morale of the people will be affected, and that will affect the work culture of the organization, right? And the performance will also be affected in long term. Okay, now again, see, this is of 10 marks. You need to write only those relevant content, good content. Now if you have anything more, that you can write. And also, if you strictly are supposed to follow in terms of discipline, you are following the orders means you may have to face some situation where you will have to close your eyes, or you have to go with the corruption of the seniors also. Like whatever seniors say, if you remember one of the case study that we have discussed, that the minister was asking you to do something, and are you going to do that? We said we are not going to do that. And for that we have discussed one of the most important virtue, that is courage or fortitude. But if you're simply following the procedure or the discipline, then you have to do that. There is no other option, right? So if you're simply going with that, what is the demerit? The demerit is related to creativity, and also it can promote corruption. Why? Because you will be checked by the superiors, but the superiors are not going to be checked by anyone. So there is no accountability at that level. Okay, so it can promote corruption, nepotism, and nobody is going to get it checked, right? So automatically it will affect the efficiency of the organization, and it will hinder all these accountability thing that we have discussed, transparency you can write, and the morale of the people will be affected, the efficiency, yeah, that we have discussed here, the work culture. These are the keywords which has to come in your answer.
Hello.
Tell me.
Yes, sir. So when these kind of statements are given, shall we only try to prove these statements right, or shall we also write something about like discipline should also be there? And in previous question,
No,
also
obviously you
we
need to write. You need to write both. I am saying the other side, discipline is required. That we have discussed time and again many times. We have to follow deontological approach and all those things. Now here, see the common things that we are discussing regularly. I'm not discussing here. I'm not discussing about deontology. I'm not discussing about utilitarianism. All those things you can bring in here. I am just discussing those new element which is coming in this question. Otherwise, I have to keep on repeating the same things. Here also you need to talk about deontology. As per deontological approach, you have to follow the orders because there is a procedure and the procedure have to be followed. It doesn't matter what is the outcome that you have to write. At the same time, you have to bring in utilitarianism by saying that if any the way you need to, you should not follow the order, because if that order is affecting the larger public, okay, and then I have to, for the greatest number of maximum happiness for the maximum people, I have to go with the utilitarian approach, so that you are not going to obey the senior's order. So those things which we have already discussed and time and again we have discussed that. So that is the reason why I'm not incorporating those dimensions. What new I can add here is what I'm saying now.
so
So
in
I'm expecting that you will be adding all those things here.
so in previous questions when it is said that justify this statement, shall we only criticize this, like criticize the
No,
capitalism
no,
and
no, no, no,
all
no,
that
no,
thing,
no, no,
or
no, no, no.
both
Even,
the
even,
sides?
no, no. You can write both sides. You need to
Okay.
write both sides actually.
Okay.
But here, see, here there is no point in writing the other side. So what positive you can write? The other side, how will you write here? That is in this statement, it is not. Maybe in the other statements you can write the two sides, but here, when you're writing the two sides, then it is going to be extreme. So that shows a different, approach. So that is not required here because you are going to talk for this minority. That's not required in this case. Okay, what about this? Without commonly shared and widely entrenched moral values and obligations, neither the law, nor democratic government, nor even the market economy will function properly. So, again, what do you understand by the statement? Explain with illustration in the contemporary times. So, you basically need to explain the complete statement and you need to give example with respect to the contemporary times. Okay. So, what they're asking, there has to be commonly shared, widely accepted moral values, right? So everybody have to follow something which is accepted, and moral values and obligations. Neither the law nor democratic government nor even the market economy will function properly. Okay, so if this is followed, then only these can function properly. If this is not there, it won't work in market economy. Things won't work. The democratic government also not going to work properly if there is a differences between the people, right? So what we are saying, commonly shared and widely entrenched moral values, we are talking about similarities. People have to accept. Everybody have to accept, and everybody should be following the similar moral code. Do you think that is possible? When this country like India, where so much of heterogeneous population, different religion, different caste, different language, different region, and all these things is there, it is obviously, see, because these moral values will change with respect to society. Society to society, it will vary. Kerala to Tamil Nadu, it will vary. South India to North India, it will vary, right? Between people also, it will vary. So it is very subjective, but still, to what extent it is possible, there has to be commonly shared moral values. Then only all these things, even the law also, because everybody has to accept the law, right? Then only it will function properly. It cannot be different for different people. Democratic government also, and even the market economy also can function properly. The democratic government cannot function properly because of the differences. Even in market economy also, what can be the problems, right? There can be capitalism, there can be exploitation of the workers, right? There will be less salaries. So for everything, there has to be something which is commonly defined and decided. Law also, it has to be properly codified. Anything else you want to add here? See, this is all about what you understood from the statement. So Now, this is something which you can contribute here.
So can we give examples of the past times, like even within the country and inter-country, everyone was just looting each other. No codified laws were there. Like they have asked for the contemporary times.
This is this one you can write like that, because if there is no commonly shared moral values, there will not be, commonality. There will be a lawlessness will prevail, because people will not accept, everybody having different opinion means people will not accept. So this cannot survive. So that you can write. Then this one also, people have differences, so it will be difficult for the functioning of the democratic government. Even after French Revolution, when the democracy came into existence, still people were uncertain about the success, because people had differences of opinion. So if people have differences of opinion, this will also not survive. Similar is the case with market economy also. So you can explain all these things, but you have to do that in your own language. The thing is that to what extent you can do that. Okay, so if this is not there, commonly shared moral value is not there, people won't have trust on anything. And it will affect the people trust, means people won't believe in this or this, right? There will be always doubt among the sections of the people. And the question of accountability, transparency will be there. Majority and minority division will be there. What else you can write? This is very subjective. What else you can write? It will be driven by vested interest, right? Especially in the context of this market economy will not function properly. Will be vested interest, and only the companies, only the capitalists will get the benefit. They will form their own, cartel, and their interest will be promoted, and the workers will get exploited, like that. So write it accordingly. No, you will not get that kind of question again, but still, in case this level of questions if you get, you should be following the same approach, very general. See, you cannot study and you cannot write those answers. You cannot study this in any books, or you can write the answer. No, that is not possible. So be in a position to write answers on the spot for these kind of questions. Okay, that's the reason why I've told you there is no point in reading too much of books. Just stick to a lexicon and that will be enough. Only those questions which are related to the concepts, you should be in a position to grab it. That's the opportunity that you're going to get. And if you get that kind of questions, out of 10 mark, you should be getting 7 mark, right? This kind of question, everybody will be getting 5 to 6 only. Everybody is going to get, even the student who's not prepared also will get 5. The best also will get 6. So you are not going to get any advantage from this kind of questions. Contemporary examples also you need to add here. Okay, so we will start with the case study now. You're an honest and responsible civil servant. You often observe the following. There is a general perception that adhering to ethical conduct, one may face difficulties to oneself and cause problems for the family. So if you strictly follow the rules and the procedures and the ethical conduct, you won't tolerate corruption. If that is the case, you may face problems, difficulties, not only you, your family also. Whereas unfair practices may help to reach the career goal. It will be rewarded, right? We have discussed it already. Reward punishment theory. Secondly, when the number of people adopting unfair means is large, a small minority having a penchant towards ethical means makes no difference. So the minority which is following the ethical means is not going to make any difference in the organization. Sticking to ethical means is detrimental to the larger developmental goals. While one may not involve oneself in larger unethical practices, but giving and accepting small gift make the system more efficient. Examine the above statements with their merits and demerits. So these are the observations, and these are something which is very general. So you should be in a position to answer. These are the popular notions in the minds of the youth, in the minds of the public, and mainly it is talking about what? Corruption, dishonesty. Okay, so you need to be corrupt and unethical and dishonest to be successful in society, because society is based on what? Society will evaluate your success on the basis of material well-being. So if the society when change the mindset, then only you will also change. That is very important, because society's mindset also need to be changed. If you live like a normal person by just getting the salary and having a simple lifestyle, people will take you as a failure. But if you have all these facilities, good material life, then they will see you as successful, right? So here, the personal life, personal values, and personal interest is very important. At the same time, larger public interest you need to talk about. And any such kind of things, you can say it will affect the integrity, it will affect the moral, it will affect the work culture of the organization. And also, you can say it will affect the cognitive dissonance. I've told you cognitive dissonance, that you want to do something, your inner conscience will say something, but you are forced to do something else. You know that corruption is unethical, but some simple gift etc you can take, that you may be forced to do that, some situation that will create cognitive dissonance. So then, even this, it doesn't matter whether small gift or large gift, or 1 acre of land or 10 acre of land, corruption, gift, getting gift is totally unethical in whatever quantity it is. It doesn't matter what is the quantity, right? So this is also unethical. So take each sentence and you can explain that, right? And this is totally against the values. These are vices, these are against, these are not good virtues. And this is against the foundational values of civil service that we have discussed. The Nolan committee values also we have discussed. These practices will go totally against that. It will compromise transparency, it will compromise accountability, it will compromise objectivity. And the larger public goal will not be served. So the short term, again, you can talk about short term versus long term. Short term benefit may be there. Maybe the decisions will be implemented faster. Even the other party also will get some benefit. But long term, this is going to be detrimental. Okay, detrimental to the individual and also to the society and obviously to the country. Okay, so upright character is very important. That has to be followed. Even the smallest unethical practice also should not be tolerated. You're an aspiring you're aspiring to become an IAS officer, and you have cleared various stages, and now you are going to interview. On the day of the interview, on the way to the venue, you saw an accident where a mother and child who happened to be your relatives were badly injured. They needed immediate help. What would you have done in such situation? Justify your answer. So here also they are putting you in a dilemma. So here also there is a dilemma. Now, how can you answer this question? Actually, I don't think there will be any confusion here in this particular question to solve. You will say that you're definitely going to help that person, right? So definitely your answer will be you're going to help the person. You're going to help the person not because they are your relatives. Otherwise, also in that situation, it is your responsibility, because they are in need of immediate help. So it is your responsibility to help that people, right? It is your moral responsibility to help the victims. Now, what you will do, okay, you are saying that you're going to help. So immediately what you will do, you will attend that person, okay, attend them, and you will take them to the hospital. You can call ambulance, right? And you can take them to the hospital. So you can also give the first aid if it is required in that situation, if possible. The first thing that you need to do in the accident situation is you have to do the first aid, then call the hospital and arrange the ambulance. Okay, now you will take them to the hospital, you will also assist them. And then what you need to do, since it is an accident case, you have to follow the procedure. So you have to inform the police, okay, and then you also need to inform the relatives, because you are one of the relative. So you need to see if there is any other relative nearby. If there is any other relative nearby, it is very easy for you. You can call them and you can go for the interview, right? So you will try to call your relative. At the same time, you will call the police and you will register an FIR because it's a accident case, so that the victim will get the benefit, right? The victim will get the justice. So these are the mandatory things that you need to do in this situation. Now the question is whether you will miss the UPSC interview or not. It is a personal interest whether it is going to be sacrificed or not. No, what you will do in the meantime, once you're done with this, you will also inform the authorities. If it is UPSC or whatever is the authorities, you have to inform the authorities that you are in this situation, and you can inform the issue, and they will be very much concerned about this kind of activity. So obviously, you are doing some good things, so it will be appreciated. And you also need to make sure that you are not bluffing, you are not lying, you are not making any wrong statements. For that, what you can do is you can take the some certificates from the doctor, right, with respect to the admission of the patient. And also you can take the copy of the FIR if you have done registered FIR, or you can take a statement from the police. That also will help you to prove that you are attending this case. Then you can go for the interview. Okay, so once the relatives are informed, once you hospitalize that the person and things are getting stabilized, then you go and attend the interview, and there also you will get the benefit. So here there is no question that you are going to compromise your personal life for this. You are doing both. You are ensuring justice, okay, and that has to be done. It is expected, not just because you are the relative. Otherwise also you will say that it will be done. So that is your moral duty. Okay, so that is how you need to write this answer. Anything else you want to do? Otherwise, see, suppose you are not attending this person. Firstly, they are your relative, so it will be there in your mind, and you will not be able to attend your interview also properly, because you feel that you have not done that. So what is the word that you can use here? Cognitive dissonance. My inner mind was saying that I should help this person, but just because I am attending the interview and this is the opportunity that I got, so I'm going for that. And that your inner mind will feel guilty for what you're doing. So what your inner mind is saying and what you're doing will be different. That's the situation of cognitive dissonance. Okay, so no, see, it's not like this only. When you are writing the answer, I'm expecting that you will write in a better way than what I've told. I've just told you the normal things that you can do. You met with an accident. So what you will do in normal, just think that you need to help this person. So give the first aid, take him to the hospital, inform the police, inform the relatives. These are common things that anyone will do. Now, just because you need to attend UPSC, you have to inform UPSC. Otherwise, that's also not required. You have to inform UPSC, and also you have to get, a proof that this happened, right? Otherwise, simply also people can bluff. You might have, you might have late, and that's the reason why you're making some claims like that. So, because of that only, you just take some proof for that. Next question. You are the head of the HR department of an organization. One day, one of the workers died on duty. His family was demanding compensation. However, the company denied compensation because it was revealed in investigation that he was drunk at the time of accident. The workers of the company went to strike, demanding compensation for the family of the deceased. So the family is demanding compensation, but he was drunk. That's why the compensation is denied. And the workers of the company went to strike, demanding compensation of the family. The chairman of the management board has asked you to, asked for your recommendation. So what recommendation would you provide the management? Discuss the merits and demerits of each of the recommendation. So you see this word, each of the recommendation. That means you need to give one or more. Okay, so when you see this, you have to understand that you need to give one or more recommendation. Secondly, for each case you need to write what? Merits and demerits. So you have to make sure that this is your recommendation 1, this is merits, this is demerits, this is recommendation 2, this is merit, this is demerit. So this is how you should structure your answer. And before that, you should tell what is the situation also. Okay, so that has to be reflected in your answer. So what is the situation? This is very clear for all of you. One person died and the workers are on strike now, demanding the compensation. But the company is denying because it has been proved in the investigation that he was drunk. Now, as per rules, Will he get compensation? No, he won't get compensation because he was drunk. That is against the the rules, right? So in the workplace, you should not drink. See, even in case of any insurance company, let's suppose in the normal drive or motorcycle accident or any accident happened, do you think the insurance companies will give the or accept the claim if the person was drunk? No, right? So as per law, that is not allowed, right? So what are the possibilities? Since each of the recommendation, you can only give two recommendation here mainly. One, you can give the claim or compensation. Two, you should not give the compensation. So it is very, very clear. You cannot. Do you think you can give any more recommendation here? No. Give the compensation. Don't give the compensation. If giving the compensation, what are the merits and demerits? If not giving the compensation, what are the merits and demerits? This is what you need to write here. So let's see what will happen if you give the compensation to the family. So when the compensation is given, immediately the strike will be called off because the strike is for by demanding the compensation. So if that happens, the work of the company will come. So the company will work properly, function properly. So automatically, whatever compensation is given, the company can easily recover that when the work is going smoothly. So that is fine, because otherwise work is not going, the production or whatever it is not happening. So the company is in loss. So if the work is getting normal, then whatever compensation is giving, the company may get it back easily. Okay. At the same time, it will improve the morale of the workers because the company is giving the compensation and the company is with them. That feel it will give. At the same time, it will be a very good relief for the deceased family, because they are getting this fund, means that is going to help them a lot in the situation, right? So it will be an immediate relief, and you can justify your action on the humanitarian concern. So it is a humanitarian action, so the company's reputation will increase, and all these things are the merits. But what is a demerit here? The demerit is, it will set a wrong precedent. If you are incentivizing the workers, it's like you are incentivizing the workers that you can come, you can drink, and you can work, right? So it is promoting the workers that you can drink during the working hours. So what will happen? Again, people will do that. Again, if people are dying, such kind of more demands will come, and that will obviously put the company in the economic burden, and that is not reasonable, right? So if you see, in this case, who is responsible for this accident? It is not the company. It is because in the working hours he should not drink, so he drank, and that is the reason why this accident happened. So in principles, if you see in the merit of the case, who's responsible? The worker is responsible. So you know if the worker is responsible, he came drunk, and still you're giving compensation, it will affect the entire work culture. How it is going to affect the work culture? Because now they are getting the license to drink in working hours. So, okay, so that is a merit and demerit for giving compensation. No, not giving compensation. In that also, merit and demerit will be there. So what are the merits and demerits? Company stand is very clear now. Like it is as per the rules. So you are following the rules, you are following the procedures, and this kind of demands may not be raised in future. If you are giving it now, it will affect the work culture. So these are the merits. Whatever demerits you have said, you can write as the merits here. Okay. Now, what is a demerit here? It will affect the family. That family will be badly affected. Okay. And the strike will also continue. So these are the demerits which you can write here. So these are the two options that you can take: either give the compensation or not giving the compensation. Or what else you can do here? You can simply say do nothing, right? You can remain neutral, just ignore, wait till the workers return to work, because anyway the workers cannot strive long without working and without getting salary. So just wait, just ignore this. Anyway, you are not doing anything against the rule, because the responsibility in this case is with the person who died only. It is not with the company. So you can remain silent. That is also one option. But then what is a merit? Merit is the company don't want to pay, right? So there is no financial obligation from the company side. That is a merit from the company's point of view. What is a demerit here? If it go long, then it is going to affect the production of the company. It will lead to the it will again make loss to the company, and also the workers also getting affected. So that is a demerit. But mainly these are the two actions. You can give compensation. Second, you don't want to give compensation. Third, just ignore. Okay, till the time workers are coming back, because you can expect that after some time, when the workers are not getting any salary, they will come back for work. It cannot be long. But the demerit I've discussed in this case is, if it go long, then that will be a disadvantage for the company as well as for the workers.
Sir,
Mm.
in the compensation itself, we can recommend that the company, if is going to recommend going to give the compensation, he can also strictly adhere that there should not be any drunk workers should enter to the company area, and also there should be a proper persuasion to be insisted on those workers who are regularly coming with the drunk, and they are not allowed to the working area to work. Uh, so it will be really
You
bad.
see, these are recommendations again which you can add. These are, not in general. That's the reason why I'm not saying specific. These are person to person will vary.
Yes, sir.
Right? You want to give that, you can write that. It all depends on the time and space which is available.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, not doing anything about the situation or not paying the compensation, it is
Mm.
already happening, right? How it can be a recommendation? Rather, we should persuade these striked workers or ask them that if they really want us to compensate, we can cut from their salary or whatever. Like not
No,
doing
you
anything or
cannot.
not
You
paying
cannot.
is already happening, right?
No, you
That's why they are
cannot cut from
striking.
the. You cannot cut from the salary of the workers. No.
Not we will not cut, but for pursuing them, like we need to make this strike down. They are clearly not like in favor
No,
of the
it's not
company.
like there is no decision has been. The decision which has been taken is now is we are not the since the person is drunk, not paying. But still, company is under consideration whether to pay or not, and asking for your recommendation. So you can say you can pay or not to pay or not do anything. So in that context, that recommendation is also relevant,
Okay.
because company is asking you your recommendation whether to pay or not. So okay, so we will stop here. We will continue from Thursday, and we'll complete this all case studies. Okay, guys, see you.